In the name of God, the most beneficious, the most merciful, peace and salutation on His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Infallibility of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we all know, all the Prophet of Islam, the Messenger of the Almighty Allah, are infallible of sins. The sins are the forbidden things of Sharia. Apart from it, the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah has a policy that argues all the Prophet are infallible. Indeed, they don't commit any sins, even if it is small, if it's a big sin, intentionally, non-intentionally, in a consciousness or in subconsciousness. They never commit sins or the forbidden things against Sharia. Even if the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah believes that all prophets are infallible, there are some indecipherable Quranic verses that some might interpret that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not completely infallible, which means that some sort of sins or some sort of what is not expected from him has been happened during the historical era of Islam. One of the example for such event is illustrated through the Surah Najm, which says, تِلْكَ الْغَرَانِ كَالْعُلَى. After this ayah, there is a report saying that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his companions went to sujood by greeting the God and Goddess of the non-Muslims. The better explanation, or the most accurate explanation, could be given. Instead, there are misinterpretations that saying that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam forgotten what the real verses is, which is never apt to be said on a prophet. Indeed, if we say that, if we emphasize that a prophet can forget something, what is given to him will not make the Sharia concrete. It will absolutely lead to the loss of concreteness and the trustness of what he has brought from the Almighty Allah as a messenger of the Islam. Above all this, Imam Razi radiyallahu anhu gives the most accurate and apt interpretation for this misinterpretation of the ayah from the Surah An-Najm is that the shaitan by himself imitated the voice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and greeted the God and Goddess of the non-Muslims, making it clear that such words or such event never happened or never said to be happened from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. While some other people proclaims that the verses that is said to be misinterpreted is the shaitan interfering the Prophet Muhammad's qiraat sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which itself again causes the concreteness and the trustness of the Sharia, which he has brought from the Almighty Allah. As I said, the most accurate and precise answer is that the shaitan imitated the voice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, misleading all the Muslims and the non-Muslims to do the sujoods. Instead, while we say that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself went to the sujood, it's not because of the praising of the shaitan that made him to do the sujood. Instead, the Surah An-Najm conclusion is with a sujood of tilawa, which comes to a conclusion that there is nothing ever happened as proclaimed and purported by some misinterpreted, misleaded people who argues that the Prophet are not completely infallible of sins. As we say that the prophets are infallible of sins and forbidden things, how could this be? This could be proven by just by an rational thought. It could be proven right, because the Prophet or the messengers of Allah are the one sent to the earth to guide the people, even the misguided and the sinners and the non-believers. If the sin and forbidden things are happening from them, this itself make clear that the Allah has sent someone to mislead the already misguided people. In conclusion, there might be lots of verses and reports that misleads and that might be misinterpreted that the prophets are not infallible. Just by a rational thought, it could be proven clear that the prophets are completely infallible of sins and all forbidden. As we say that, Hasanatul Abarari Sayyiatul Muqarrabeen.